When I look back at my life, at everything that happened, there is one truth that becomes clearer every year. Nothing great in my life ever came from waiting. Not once. Every leap, every breakthrough, every success started long before the moment felt perfect. I didn't found NVIDIA because the conditions were ideal. I founded it because I couldn't wait anymore. The truth is, if I waited for the perfect moment, NVIDIA would not exist, and I would not be sitting here telling you this. People think success is born from certainty. They imagine a moment where everything lines up, where fear disappears, where confidence arrives, and the road ahead becomes obvious. That moment never comes. You don't get clarity before you decide. You get clarity because you decide. Every meaningful step in life feels uncomfortable at the start. Every dream feels risky. Every new beginning feels too early. And yet, if you don't start early, you will never start at all. When I was young, nobody believed that graphics chips would change the world. Nobody thought GPUs would be useful for more than video games. We were just a small group of engineers with a wild idea, working out of a rented office. Nothing was perfect. We had no certainty, no guarantees. But we had conviction, and conviction matters more than condition. When you believe in something enough, you move before the world agrees. You take the risk, you begin, you build, and one day, the world sees what you saw from the start. Waiting is seductive because it feels safe. You tell yourself, I'm not ready yet. I need more experience, more knowledge, more money, more confidence. You stand at the edge of possibility, and you convince yourself that someday it will be easier. Someday will be clearer. But someday's a myth. Someday is how dreams die. Perfection is an illusion that keeps people in the same place for years, decades, a lifetime. The world is full of people who are waiting, waiting for motivation, waiting for courage, waiting for the right time. And while they wait, opportunities pass them by. Not because they weren't capable, but because they hesitated. When I was a teenager, I washed dishes at a restaurant. That was my job. My hands were soaked. My clothes smelled like soap. It was not glamorous. It did not look like the start of anything big. But that job taught me something. Good work begins where you are, not where you wish you were. I didn't wait for a perfect beginning. I didn't think to myself, I'll work hard when the job is inspiring. I worked hard when the job was tiny, boring, and invisible. That habit stayed with me forever. People think they need passion before they begin. But passion does not come first. Work comes first. Passion grows from progress. You start, you improve, you get better. And one day, you love the thing you have built. If you wait until you love something before you begin, you will never begin. That is why so many lives stall. They keep searching for passion instead of creating it. When we created NVIDIA, we did not know the future. We did not know that GPUs would become the foundation of artificial intelligence, self-driving cars, scientific computing, acceleration for the entire digital world. We didn't even know if we would survive the first year. But we believed in one thing, that the future belongs to the ones who are willing to start when no one else is. You cannot predict everything. You cannot wait to understand everything. You trust your instincts and move. And you accept that mistakes are part of the process. I have made so many mistakes, so many wrong turns, so many failures. But every mistake was the price of progress. People think avoiding mistakes makes life safer. It doesn't. Avoiding mistakes makes life smaller. You cannot learn without risk. You cannot grow without failure. You cannot change without uncertainty. The people who succeed are not the ones who know more. They are the ones who are willing to begin when they know less. Do you know what the biggest difference is between the people who build something great and the people who spend their lives watching? It's not intelligence. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's action. Every day, I see incredibly smart people trapped by hesitation. They have the ability. They have the ideas. They have the potential, but they are waiting. Waiting for the moment to feel right. Waiting for a sign. Waiting for permission. They don't realize that the perfect moment only becomes obvious after you start. When we look back at history, we admire the result. We forget the chaos that came before. Every great company, every invention, every discovery began in uncertainty. Apple began in a garage. Amazon began in a rented apartment. Nvidia began at a diner table with coffee cups and napkins. The future never announces itself, it whispers. You have to be listening. You have to act when the voice is faint, not when the world is cheering. If you only move when everyone else believes, you are already too late. There is something beautiful about the early days of a dream. You have nothing to lose. You have no reputation. You have no expectations. You are free. That is the best time to begin. As you get older, life becomes heavier. Responsibilities grow. People depend on you. Your circle becomes narrower. You cannot take the risks you once could. So the most valuable time to act is earlier than you think. I see young people who want to start companies, who want to build, who want to explore. And every time they tell me the same thing, I'm waiting until I'm ready. I tell them, you will never be ready. That's why you must start now. The world does not reward the ones who wait. The world rewards the ones who dare. It is not the smartest who win. It is not the most educated. It is not the ones with the perfect plan. It is the ones who move before the moment feels perfect. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Perfection is fear in disguise. Perfection is a thief that steals years. The moment you stop chasing perfection and start chasing movement, everything changes. In life, timing matters. But timing does not mean waiting for the ideal conditions. Timing means having the courage to act while conditions are uncertain. Action creates opportunity. Waiting kills it. I often think about the people who were smarter than me, more talented than me, more experienced than me, who never started. They could have built companies bigger than Nvidia. They could have changed the world. But they waited. They waited until they felt confident. They waited until they had enough money. They waited until everything made sense. And while they waited, the world moved. Someone else built what they dreamed of. Someone else seized the moment. Someone else acted. The people who do not wait change the world. The people who wait watch it change. If you want to know the secret, here it is. Your life will be defined not by what you plan, but by what you begin. The world does not care about your ideas. It cares about your action. You can think forever. You can prepare forever. But nothing happens until you take the first step. The perfect moment does not exist. If you wait for it, you will miss everything. People think courage feels like confidence, but it never does. Courage feels like doubt. Courage feels like fear. Courage feels like stepping into darkness with no guarantee of what's on the other side. When I made the decision to start Nvidia, I did not feel brave. I felt uncertain. I felt like maybe I was making a mistake. I felt like the world might laugh at me. But I also felt something else. I felt that if I didn't try, I would regret it forever. And regret is heavier than fear. Fear goes away. Regret stays with you. People avoid fear, but they don't realize they are choosing something worse. Most people think they postpone their dreams because they are being rational. They think waiting is intelligent. They tell themselves, I am being careful. I am being strategic. But careful is often just fear with a PhD. Fear puts on a suit and calls itself logic. Fear says, don't do it yet. Do more research. Don't do it yet. Get more experience. Don't do it yet. Wait until the risks are smaller. And because we respect logic, we listen. But if you look closely, logic is often just protecting you from discomfort. It is disguising hesitation as wisdom. And that is how most lives stagnate, beautifully justified, elegantly defended, endlessly postponed. You will never eliminate fear. The goal is not to remove fear. The goal is to move despite fear. I've worked with some of the smartest engineers in the world. Do you know what they all have in common? Fear, doubt, uncertainty. They were building things nobody had built before. There were no instructions, no guarantees. but they built anyway. Every great engineer knows this. At the beginning, everything looks impossible. Innovation is born in moments where logic cannot yet explain the outcome. You move because you feel something true, not because you have proof. There is something else most people don't understand. The world rewards speed. The world rewards movement. Ideas are cheap. The world is full of ideas. Everyone has them. But very few people act. I have seen ideas die on whiteboards. I have seen brilliant concepts discussed in meetings for years, never becoming real because nobody took the first step. Meanwhile, someone else, somewhere else, with fewer resources, fewer credentials, fewer advantages, acted, and they won. Life is not fair. Life favors the ones who move. People tell themselves they need a perfect plan to start. That's not how it works. When we began NVIDIA, we had no perfect plan. We had a vision, a direction, and an obsession. Plans change. Reality changes. Technology changes. What matters is motion. Momentum gives you more information than thinking. The person who experiments will learn more in 1 than the person who analyzes for 1 year. You cannot think your way into clarity. You must act your way into clarity. I have never seen anyone fail because they started too early, but I have seen thousands fail because they started too late. Time is not gentle. Time is not gentle. Time punishes hesitation. The longer you wait, the harder everything becomes. Confidence grows from action. Opportunity grows from action. Skill grows from action. Life rewards the doers, not the dreamers. I meet so many intelligent dreamers. They have visions. They speak about their goals passionately. But year after year, nothing changes. They are waiting for the future to magically become easier. It never does. The world is accelerating, not slowing. Every year, the price of waiting becomes more expensive. There is a pattern I've seen in successful people. It is not brilliance. It is not perfect planning. It is not luck. It is this. When they see an opening, they move. Even if they don't feel ready. Even if they are scared. Even if they might fail. They move. And because they move, they discover things they could not see from a distance. A path appears only when your feet start walking. You cannot see the road from the starting line. You must take steps before the road is revealed. One of the most dangerous beliefs is this: I'll start when I'm confident. Confidence is a result, not a requirement. You gain confidence after you act, not before. When I speak to young entrepreneurs, they think confidence comes first. They are waiting for that magical day when they wake up and feel brave. That day never comes. I have been in business for decades, and still, before every big decision, there is fear. Not because I doubt myself, but because I understand the stakes. Fear means the decision matters. If you feel nothing, you are doing nothing important. We live in a world that moves faster than ever. Decisions that used to take months now take days. A new technology appears and can transform industries overnight. You cannot react slowly anymore. You cannot wait. The people who pause will be left behind. The future belongs to those who can make decisions without perfect information. The future belongs to those who are willing to jump while the bridge is still being built. You cannot control everything. You cannot predict everything, but you can act. You can move. You can start. In my life, I have never regretted the risks I took. I regret the times I hesitated. I regret the ideas I knew were right, but delayed because I was afraid. I regret the moments I let logic talk me out of courage. Every time I moved forward, something happened. Maybe I failed. Maybe I succeeded. But I grew. I learned. I became stronger. That is how life works. Movement creates growth. Waiting creates nothing. And here is something most people never realize. The perfect moment does not arrive first. It arrives afterward, after you act, after you try, after you learn. People see successful companies and think, they must have started when the conditions were perfect. No, They started when nobody cared, when nobody believed, when it felt too early. The perfect moment is created by action, not discovered by waiting. Most people think transformation happens through big dramatic decisions, through massive leaps, through bold, once-in-a-lifetime moments. But that is not how life actually changes. Life changes through small choices repeated consistently, invisible choices, boring choices, choices that don't feel important at the time. You do not suddenly become successful. You become successful quietly, in tiny steps, long before anyone notices. When people look at my life today, they see an NVIDIA AI trillion-dollar market cap, enormous influence. They see the results. But they cannot see the mornings when nobody believed in us. They cannot see the nights when we were exhausted and uncertain. They cannot see the invisible years where we were learning, failing, adjusting, trying again. They see the mountain peak. They don't see the climb. Success hides itself in daily habits. People always want to know what book will change their life, what idea will unlock everything, what strategy will make them rich. They don't want to hear the truth because the truth is simple and unexciting. Show up every day. Learn something every day. Improve one thing every day. That is how extraordinary lives are built. Small progress compounds. Just like compound interest creates wealth, compound effort creates mastery. 1 hour a day, every day. For 10 years will beat 12 hours a day for 1 month. Consistency beats intensity. There is no secret more powerful than that. When you look around, you will notice a strange pattern. Most people are incredibly busy, but they are not moving. They wake up, rush through their day, handle tasks, solve problems, but they are not progressing toward anything meaningful. Their life is full of motion, but empty of direction. They confuse activity with advancement. They are tired, but not fulfilled. They are working, but not growing. Years pass, and they wonder why nothing changed. The answer is simple. They never aimed at anything. They never chose a path. They were waiting for a perfect destination before they took a step, and so they stayed exactly where they were. When I was young, I didn't know exactly where I was going, but I chose a direction. I knew I wanted to build. I knew I wanted to create something useful. I didn't have every detail. I didn't have every answer, but I moved. As I moved, the world revealed itself. Opportunities appear in motion. Doors open when you walk toward them. People think they must know everything before they begin. They don't. You learn by doing. You learn by walking. You learn by failing. The world rewards participation, not perfection. Every step forward creates options that did not exist before. And every time you make progress, the next step becomes slightly clearer. Your environment matters more than you think. Surround yourself with people who complain, and you will complain. Surround yourself with people who dream, and you will dream. When I built NVIDIA, I surrounded myself with engineers who were smarter than me. People who were curious. People who were obsessive. People who wanted to solve difficult problems. Their energy mattered. Their mindset mattered. You do not rise alone. You rise with the people around you. If the people in your life spend their days criticizing, gossiping, making excuses, you will eventually do the same. Not because you want to, but because environment shapes behavior. If you want to change your life, change what surrounds you. Change the room. Change the people. Change the conversations. Small decisions shape your destiny, not the dramatic ones. The daily ones. Do you read or do you scroll? Do you exercise or do you postpone? Do you build something or do you consume? Do you take the risk or do you wait? Every choice plants a seed. Most people think they fail because of one big decision gone wrong. But failure is rarely a single explosion. It is erosion. It is small compromises repeated, small excuses repeated, small delays repeated. A day wasted is nothing. A decade wasted is everything. Time is a thief dressed in comfort. It steals quietly. You don't feel the loss until it is too late. When I speak to young people, I tell them the same thing. Your future is built on habits, not dreams. Dreams inspire you, but habits build you. If you want a different life, don't wait for a better mood. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for passion. Build habits that carry you when motivation is gone, because motivation always leaves. Discipline stays. You cannot rely on feelings. Feelings are unstable. Discipline is stable. I have never met anyone who succeeded because they felt inspired every day. They succeeded because their habits worked even on the days they didn't feel like working. There is one more thing most people don't understand. The gap between average and extraordinary is not talent. It is focus. Extraordinary people do ordinary things with an extraordinary level of focus. They choose fewer things. They go deeper. They ignore distractions. They say no more often than they say yes. Every yes costs you something. Every yes steals time, energy, attention. You cannot do everything. You should not do everything. Focus is the multiplier. Focus is how average effort becomes remarkable output. When you choose one path and commit, something happens. You unlock momentum. The world sees your direction and aligns with it. But if you are scattered, you get nothing. A river cuts through mountains not because it is powerful, but because it is consistent. Most lives are lost in distraction. Distraction is the silent killer. Not because it destroys you fast, but because it destroys you slowly. Bit by bit, day by day, one scroll, one episode, one postponement at a time. People don't realize the cost of distraction. They think they are losing minutes. They are losing years. The greatest danger is not failure. The greatest danger is a life that slowly drifts without direction. You only notice at the end, when regret becomes unbearable. Comfort feels safe, but it is dangerous. Comfort slowly kills ambition. It numbs hunger. It makes you forget what you wanted. When life feels comfortable, you stop stretching. You stop learning. You stop risking. You tell yourself you deserve a break, and maybe you do. But a break that lasts too long becomes a cage. The most dangerous place in life is not failure. The most dangerous place is comfort. When everything is easy, when nothing challenges you, when you stop being afraid, that is when your future begins to shrink. Growth only lives on the edge of discomfort. If you never feel discomfort, it means you are not growing. Discomfort is the signal that you are alive. It is the sign that you are moving into new territory. Every breakthrough in my life began with discomfort. When we started NVIDIA, I was uncomfortable every day. I felt pressure. I felt stress. I felt uncertainty. But that discomfort shaped me. It sharpened me. It forced me to become stronger. Discomfort is not your enemy. Discomfort is your teacher. People think they should avoid discomfort, but they should seek it. Growth is on the other side of discomfort. Every time you choose comfort over discomfort, you choose the smaller life. Think of a muscle. A muscle does not grow by rest alone. It grows by stress. It grows by being pushed to its limits. Your mind is the same. Your career is the same. Your dreams are the same. They need resistance. They need pressure. They need challenge. Discomfort is the price of expansion. When you push yourself into something new, you feel awkward, slow, exposed. That is the cost. But nothing changes if you only do what is easy. Easy keeps you exactly where you are. Difficult makes you into someone new. Most people avoid discomfort because they think they have time. They think they can delay. They think the future will wait for them. They believe tomorrow will look the same as today. It won't. Time moves whether you move or not. One day, you wake up and realize you are out of time. Not because life is over, but because the window for certain opportunities closed. There are seasons in life. Some seasons are for building. Some seasons are for risk. Some seasons are for learning. If you waste the season building, you cannot get it back. You can start later, yes, but the cost will be higher, the climb will be steeper, the opportunity will be smaller. The biggest illusion is that you can wait. Urgency is a superpower. Urgency is what makes people act while others hesitate. Urgency is what creates movement. Urgency wakes you up. When I was young, I felt urgency. Not because someone told me to hurry, but because I understood something important. Time is limited. You do not get infinite chances. You get a few, maybe even one. When opportunity appears, you take it. You don't analyze it to death. You don't debate with fear. You move. You learn while moving. You adjust while moving. That is how you build momentum. Momentum is the most underrated advantage in life. Once you start, once you are moving, everything gets easier. Problems that looked impossible become manageable. Fear that felt overwhelming becomes smaller. People notice, doors open. Progress accelerates, but momentum only comes from action. Not thinking, not planning, not dreaming, action. If you are stuck, don't wait for motivation. Do something small. Small action creates small momentum. Small momentum creates bigger momentum. That is how you begin. There is a story I will never forget. It was early in my life. I was washing dishes in a restaurant. My sleeves were wet. My hands were tired. It was not a glamorous job. Nobody admired it. But that moment taught me something. Work is sacred. Any work? If you give everything to small work, you will be ready for big work. If you are careless with small work, you will never be trusted with big work. People want big opportunities, but they are sloppy with small ones. They want promotions without discipline. They want freedom without responsibility. Life does not work like that. You earn the future through how you treat the present. So start now. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until you feel ready. You begin where you are with what you have and you build. Opportunity does not come to those who wait politely. Opportunity comes to those who knock loudly. Nobody will hand you your dream. Nobody will save you from hesitation. The world does not owe you anything, but it will give you something beautiful if you move with courage. Possibility. Life rewards the bold, not the reckless. The bold. The ones who can act even while afraid. The ones who can carry uncertainty without breaking. The ones who can say yes before all the answers are known. You do not need guarantees. You need movement. You do not need perfection. You need progress. If you wait for the perfect moment, you will miss everything. This story does not end with comfort. It ends with conviction. If you take one idea from this, let it be this. Urgency is not fear. Urgency is love for your own potential. Urgency is respect for time. Urgency is the decision to stop waiting and start living. The world will not slow down for you. The world owes you nothing, but your future is waiting, and it will belong to the ones who move.